Hi class, welcome to this little brief introduction to the course. What you see in front of you there is our Canvas site. And just let me show, first off, if I have any significant thing to say to you or updates about the course, I'm going to do that through the announcements. And so it's going to be listed at the top of the Canvas, but also it'll go out as an email. So make sure you read whatever emails connected to your Canvas site, because again, I will make announcements and you'll see it on there as well as this site. Next, you'll see on our site there's the course welcome, which this is, you found it, so congratulations, you're here. And then we'll have a couple other things here. You're going to post an introduction yourself. I need you to grant permission for me to share your name to InvestNet so you can be signed up for their course. And then any questions you have throughout this semester, you can answer them here. It doesn't have to be this week, it can be later. So first off, let me just show you the course welcome, which you're already in. And this is just a video version of that. It's not meant to be in addition to. So let me first off say that this course is going to be quite a bit different than the other finance courses that you have taken. The course is specifically designed to prepare you for some industry certifications which are tied to certain industries within finance. And we'll talk about them coming up here next, but that's really the source of this class, and it's the reason why it's a little bit different. We don't talk about theory very much. Instead, we're going to talk about facts and mechanics of how things work. And these are the things that you need to know to pass these industry certifications. Because it's so like fact and mechanics intensive, there are going to be a lot of quizzes. And I'm warning you that if you don't like taking a lot of quizzes, maybe you shouldn't take this class. The reason there are so many quizzes is because I found that is the best way to prepare and to study. And, I remember taking, I don't know if you took the SATs, the GMATs, GREs, all these ones, right? You study a little bit, you read about it, but then you just start doing lots of repetition and lots of quizzes to get it kind of built into your brain. And that's kind of how this course is designed a little. We are going to cover content. We are going to discuss terminology. We're going to discuss concepts and the mechanics. Because, if you think about it, it's one thing to understand, the theory of how the financial markets work. But when you're on the job, there's a lot you have to learn about the mechanics of how to actually get things done and what has to be done. And that's kind of what this course is meant to bridge. If anything, how in accounting, a lot of the accounting content is tied to the CPA exam, Chartered Public Accountant. And in a way, this is kind of our finance way of doing something similar. The first part of the course is going to be designed to kind of prepare you for the FINRA SIE exam. FINRA stands for Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. It's a mouthful. SIE stands for Securities Industry Essentials. Okay, so FINRA is a regulatory authority kind of appointed by the Securities Exchange Commission, SEC, which is the government, right, which regulates the markets. But guess what? They don't regulate everything in the markets, the SEC. They kind of appoint this industry board organization, which is run by the industry itself and called FINRA, which gets more down in the details, specifically of kind of regulating the people inside who work on the industry. And that's why if you want a job in the industry, you have to pass these exams. And the good news is, if you pass this, and for this course, I've made it extra credit for you to sign up for the official SIE. I've taught this class before and it was required, but because of the really tight time frame we have, and I wasn't able to get funding for the course content. Unfortunately, you guys are going to have to pay for some of it. We'll talk about it. but you're going to get 15% extra credit for the course if you sign up to take it. You probably won't be able to be ready for sometime after the course, but if you sign up for it, you'll get 15% extra credit. The other good news is, on average, you need about 70% to pass it, so it's not that bad. But you have to get that 70% on each of the sections too, and so something to keep in mind. We're also going to go through some of the content for the Chartered Financial Analyst exam. So where the SIE is geared toward people who are working in the investment banking industry. So it's a regulated industry in that there are specific laws that people have to follow. The CFA is not quasi-governmental. It's not like the FINRA. Instead, it's an organization of financial analysts, and they just created this certification. And in a way, it's much harder than the SIE exam. It's 3 levels of exams that over a minimum of 3 years, and it's more if you want to be an analyst who's like a stock picker or something like that, or analyzing markets and making recommendations. The SIE is a little bit more of behind the scenes at investment companies, stock brokerages, investment banks, about people who are managing all the processes that are going on within the bank, because they have to be kind of certified and registered. So the CFA, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more about economics and finance, like our traditional content that we do in the financial program. The SIE is a little more nuts and bolts of how everything works. Then we're also going to cover something called I don't remember the name, but it's like an introduction to the wealth management industry, and it's put together by a company called Envestnet, BlackRock, and Fidelity. And Envestnet, which has the name of the institute, is basically the software behind a lot of these big companies when they do things for their clients in terms of wealth management. So they create all the software behind the scenes. You probably never heard of them, but they create all the software behind the scenes. And BlackRock, you've probably heard of. They're the biggest money manager in the world. They have exchange traded funds, and they have all different types, even private funds. And then Fidelity, you've probably heard of. They're a really big fund manager as well. And if you have an employee retirement account, there's a good chance it's probably Fidelity. And so those are the 3 main portions that we're going to cover. If you look at the materials you're going to need for the course, there's this website to do all the SIE related material. I think it's going to be about $90. Sorry about that. I try to make everything free, but I couldn't swing it this time. And it's going to have readings. It's going to have lecture videos, practice questions, chapter test, final exam. Okay, it's pretty much all encompassing. You'll see I do have my own notes up there, and it's up to you if you want to use those notes. You certainly can, but it's also on the Past Perfect website. Envestnet Institute will have its own website you're going to go into. They've got readings, lecture videos, and quizzes. It's kind of pass-fail Envestnet. So you'll basically go through the program. If you pass it, you're going to take your certificate that they give you and your PDF, and you're going to upload it into Canvas, and then I'll give you full credit. The Cerify thing, you're going to take these chapter tests, right? And then I'll go in to Cerify, and I can see what you scored, and I will put that grade in manually into Canvas. And then I'll add a 10% on all your chapter tests and final exam in Cerify as well, because I kid you not, they are pretty hard, and you're going to be like, some of the questions are kind of, they seem, just kind of not random, but just really detail oriented. And so I add the 10% on there to curve it so you don't freak out about it, but also don't forget that on the real exam, it's a 70% average that you need to pass. It's a pass-fail exam. You don't get a specific grade. So don't sweat it. You can practice, do as many as you want, and I add 10%. And then lastly, where I cover the CFA, it's specifically going to be on the CFA ethics portion of the exam. CFA level 1, which you can take, out of college. You don't have to be employed. SIE you can take right now as well, and you don't have to be employed, right? The exams from FIN are after the SIE. You have to be sponsored, meaning you have to be working for a company in the industry. CFA level 2, you have to be sponsored. You have to be working in the industry. But the SIE and the CFA level 1, you don't have to. So here are some of the things you're going to do the first week of class. Obviously, you're going to go through this welcome and answer a couple questions at the very bottom. You'll see here. Then you're going to go to the introductions discussion board. Just give me a little blurb about yourself. Then you're going to grant me permission to send your email address to InvestNet, so then they can send you an invite to get onto their content, their website content. Then you're going to review the syllabus, and I'll create another video to talk about the syllabus. Hopefully this format, I'm using some new software. Hopefully it's okay. If this is too distracting and this is horrible, I'll go back to using Zoom. And then you're going to have to go on to the Certify Past Perfect website, go into the syllabus. I have a link there, and there's also a discount code to get you, I don't know, like 10% off or something. I know it's not much, but hopefully it's something. And then do chapter 1 this week. I was originally going to have you do chapters 1 and 2, but I thought depending on when you got into the course material, I didn't want to put too much on you too fast. But do not sleep on the Past Perfect chapter reviews. I know it seems like a lot, but don't save it to the end because it's a lot of material. And you can go through as fast as you want. If you've got a couple free weekends and you can bang out like 5, 6, 7, 10 chapters, hey, I've had students do it. Go through like a ton of work in a short amount of time. And if you can do it, go ahead and do it. That's fine with me. Lastly, if you have any questions, we have a discussion board. Go on there and post them, and we can chit-chat. If you have any more thoughts or anything, just post it there. And you see at the bottom of the course welcome, you just hit this, and then it takes you to the questions. And it's loading here. So you see, it's kind of clunky how it works, but you see the intro again, and then if you scroll down, you see the 2 questions. What does SIE stand for? And what score do you need on the FIN or SIE as a minimum to pass? But that's it. And so, all right, I hope you enjoyed this welcome, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.